So you can see at Deakin we offer a broad range of courses in the undergraduate programs and also in the postgraduate programs as well. So perhaps the first area to start talking about is entry requirements to teaching. To come into teaching as a pathway into the profession, there are a number of entry requirements. The first one is what's called the CASPA, or the Computer-Based Assessment for Sampling Personal Characteristics. You probably were thinking of Casper the Friendly Ghost, if it was only that friendly. Well, it actually is not too bad in actual fact. It's a way of testing the non-academic areas, in particular for people who are very keen to come into teaching. It's a requirement of all of our programs in Australia, in the state, and in this state and in the other states as well. And it's basically an online test using video scenarios where you get to respond to those mini scenarios. It's similar to the sorts of things you do in other professions as well, but CASPA is particularly focused on pathways and the sorts of non-academic skills and academic skills that you need in teaching. So areas like your empathy, communication skills, social understanding, and so on. The sorts of qualities that we like to try and focus on to make sure people are coming into teaching for the right reason. So we'll talk more about the CASPA test a bit later on. In terms of what's the ATAR, if you're leaving school and you've completed an ATAR, you need an ATAR of at least 70. It's a requirement in Victoria, and also a VC entrance. VC entrance requirements include 2 units of maths, English study scores of 25 or above, and an EAL score of at least 35. English as an additional language, that is. So in that sense, if you're coming from school, there are some subject requirements that you need to also meet because of the importance of maths and English, numeracy and literacy for teachers.
I'm now going to go on to talk about our pathway program. So from the Associate Degree of Education into the Bachelor of Education primary degree. So the Associate Degree of Education is an established program at Deakin. We've been running it for quite some time. It's got a strong record of success, and students who come in through this pathway will regularly transition into the Bachelor of Education primary, and we work with them in our course all the time. And when I'm working with fourth year students at the end of their degree, they'll often talk to me about the pathway that they've taken through the associate degree. So you have a guaranteed pathway into the Bachelor of Education primary if you complete the Associate Degree of Education. And the Associate Degree of Education includes some of the units that we have in the Bachelor of Education primary. So even when you're completing the Associate Degree of Education, which is a 2-year qualification, you're already starting to complete some of those units that are in the Bachelor of Education primary, and you're already mixing with the students who are in that course as well. So you have a really nice transition between the associate degree and the Bachelor of Education primary because of that.